Hi and welcome to another Lincolnshire Fenn Crafts needle felting tutorial for beginners. You can also follow the links below to watch my super easy tutorials teaching you how to create all the basic needle felting shapes. Once you've learned the basics, you can work towards creating pretty much anything you want. The important thing is just don't try to run before you can walk. Needle felting, like any other craft, it takes a little practice, but fortunately there are no tricky patterns and no sewing, apart from maybe the eyes. So all you need is a little bit of enthusiasm and patience. Okay, let's get going. In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to create these lovely details that you can see on the animal faces here. I'm going to be working on the sheep, but you can apply this technique to any animal you're making. So whether it's a mouse, very similar details, or a hare, they're all variations of the same thing. Today, this is what we're going to be recreating. This really cute little face we've got on the sheep here. Now the important thing is to actually have a really firm base to work on. So what you need to do is make sure that the head shape you've created is nice and firm. You'll find the video tutorial for that on my channel, creating a basic head shape. So if you haven't learned how to do that yet, pop over to that first before you start this. So I've got a really good firm shape here, a kind of egg shape. So it's a really simple shape, and it's a shape that I use for a lot of my animal heads. Ears are on and we're ready to add some detail. Now, when I say less is more, I really mean that. I mean less is less even. You want a wisp of wool. Now it can either be, this is black brown Jacob I'm using, or you can use a jet black. Any colour that you're working with that will contrast on the face is absolutely fine. Doesn't matter what wool it is. But most important is that's too thick, so I'm going to pull that apart, and as you can see it's barely there, but that's all we need. So we'll just lay that down, pop that to one side, and the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to take our needle. Now if that face isn't firm enough, a finer needle might be better, because otherwise you'll distort the shape as you're pushing into it. However, if it's nice and firm, a standard 38 or a 36 needle will work absolutely fine, and that's what I'm going to use today so that I can show you. So I always think that the best way to start with the face is to get sort of draw an outline with the needle. So you're creating that outline for you to actually pop your wool into. So that's where we're going to start. And as you can see, we've got quite a simple V shape for that nose, like a very sort of rough V shape with a simple line down the front and then two little curves at the bottom for the mouth, and that's what we're going to do. So make sure your head's up the right way. So many times I have put on the nose and the mouth upside down and had to pull it off again. That's the other joy of this, is that because you're only really felting into the surface, if it's wrong, you can just pull it off and start again. So feel free to stop the video whenever you want, get it right, and then carry on. So we're starting with the V. So find your centre point. We'll work from about here. So that's where we're going to work our V from. And then just gently draw a line, not too deep, just through the top layer of the wool, and create that V. Can you see that? I've created that shape. And then straight down from there, keeping it central, go this way, draw a line, one straight line up to the centre of that V so that they meet. And then you can maybe just go along that V again, and then from the bottom of that line we're going to just create a little curve with our needle. Doesn't have to be perfect, don't worry about it being symmetrical, because we can play about with that once but it's just a rough guide. It's like a little line just to pop our wool in, very subtle, because we don't want to distort the shape of that face. So there we go. So next I'm going to take that tiny wisp. Can you see again how thin that is? Just roll it in between the palm of your hands or between your fingers just to take the fuzziness away. Lay it across the nose where the centre of that first V was and just push through with that needle. Remember, this is just a standard needle I'm using. Push it through. You want it longer than you're going to need because we're going to trim those off once we've got it right. And then sit it along that line that you created earlier and just push it in. And we can add some more. I'm going for a really fine line on this, but if you want to be a bit bolder, you know, like with these guys, then you can be. But I'm going to go for a really sort of fine, subtle line. And just pull that down there. And you can use your needle just to tease that wool. Now I may have not quite got enough here, but I can add some more. That's not a problem at all. So as you can see, there we go. Just pull that little bit away. There we go. So we've got a nice subtle line, and that is the start of the nose. Look at it from head on. I think that's going to be okay actually. And then take your scissors and just trim the excess. Don't worry about finishing it off properly yet. We'll come back to that. So now we want to create the straight line down to the mouth. So again, small wisp of the dark or contrasting wool and lay that along that line you created. Hold it in place. Push through where that V meets in the middle so that there's no gap. And then just gently pop it down through that line that we created before. Can you see what's going on there? I think that's long enough. Take your scissors again and trim. That looks good. And then we'll take the top part with the scissors again, trim that off. We'll come back to any stragglers later on. I've just got a little bit there, so just pop that in. Okay, you see where we're at? And now we're going to create the curves for the mouth. So again, we want one long piece for this, wispy thin, and just lay that along the bottom of that line that you've created for the nose. And push it in. You can be quite forceful with this as well because you've got plenty of excess here, so even if it draws the wool into the face, it doesn't matter. You can see you've got two loose bits here. Just twizzle that round a little bit. Find the spot at the end of the mouth where you want it and push that in. Same on the other side. Find the spot roughly and push that in. Leave those loose bits on for now. Let's see where we're at. That's actually sat quite nicely. I'm pretty pleased with that. So what you can do here, if you just want to create a little bit more shape, just tease that wool up with your needle and then just go along. I'm not going to do any more on that nose because I'll start to lose that if I start pushing that in. So I'm just going to trim those ends off. Have a little look and just tidy these wisps up. So you have little wispy bits just sticking out there. But it doesn't have to be perfect. I may just add a little bit more wool there, just because I didn't quite start off with enough. So just roll a bit in with my fingers. Lay along there. That's a bit better. Easier when you do this because then you have a guide if you want to add any more. That's it. And remember, don't over felt it. It just needs to be tacked in. They're not toys, so they're not going to be played with. And there we go. Lovely. Okay, there we go. Super easy faces for all your little animal creations.